You'd think something that old would have been explored thoroughly by now. 'Twas the thought swirling in Jake's mind as he spent yet another night in his darkened room, the sound of clicking coming from the controller as a background, and the only illumination being the one coming from the screen. That one-off game had been his passion for years, maybe decades at this point. Since when he was in school, he sunk as much time as he could into it, and before long, school turned into a job. But his hobbies never changed. The game had a way of capturing your attention, since despite the age and the short amount of polygons, you could tell there was a soul behind the project, and the incredibly wide map offered you a lot of freedom in exploration. Jake loved finding little Easter eggs and hidden buildings in the map, like the plushie he found the other week, a unique model and texture, used nowhere else in the game, or so it seemed. It was sitting on a dresser by a cradle, in one of the abandoned houses by the countryside. Clearing it from enemies was easy, since all that could spawn out there were automatically generated soldiers, and so the player had the advantage of terrain by their side. After dispatching the opposition with his rifle, Jake found that plushie, immediately taking a picture of the screen with his camera, and moving the picture to his computer via the memory card. He took some minutes to upload it to the gaming blog he often visited. Having to manually refresh the page, he decided to get himself a warm tea, and by the time he was back, hitting the F5 key, a reply had appeared. "Great job, Jake 37. By the way, what's that hatch by the floor?" A what now, he thought? Sure enough, when studying the picture, a hatch was on the floor, something hidden under a rug. It didn't have a blurred outline, like that of a background, rather, it looked clear and defined like an interactable. He had to see this for himself. Booting his game as fast as he could, he took a seat on his favorite spot on the floor, placing the steaming mug of tea by his side. As it loaded, a splash screen reminded him that some objects can be moved by pressing the interaction key as he sipped the warm beverage that exhaled warm vapor. The game loaded, and he found himself in front of the plushie, where he last saved. The plushie had a shirt with some low-resolution numbers written on it, but he paid no mind to it. Turning around, there it was, that weird hatch peeking from under the rug. He tried what the loading screen suggested, a trick only used on hidden walls throughout the game. But unexpectedly, the rug was lifted and placed aside in a scripted animation, revealing a keypad on the hatch. The numbers on the plushie. Jake aimed his gun at the stuffed animal, that being the only way to zoom in on the bloated numbers made of white pixels. They looked to be 3010. He typed the numbers in the keypad without hesitation, hearing loud beeps at each one of the digits, an asset used nowhere else in the game. He pressed enter, and it opened. Posting everything online caused a storm of comments, all asking where he'd found everything, and that they had to see it for themselves. Yet the game had no quick travel option, and it was going to take some time for anybody to reach the spot, so he had the advantage over the discovery. He smiled, as everyone encouraged him to push deeper, and he went back to his seat on the floor by the console. Inside and under a metal ladder, a thermonuclear bunker was represented by yellowish-white walls, shelves full of rations, and many crates containing clutter. There were posters by the walls with war propaganda, mentioning the USSR, the endgame faction of enemies he had killed thousands of by now. Most strikingly, a painting was in the center of the wall, with a woman in it. She looked human, like a real photograph had been scaled down to fit the game coding, eerie and out of place. The picture of her that Jake took received many puzzled replies, questioning if he was making this all up. The few that believed him, however, couldn't find any match for the woman whatsoever, and asked him to press the interaction key on it, even without an indication to do so. Indeed, no prompt pushed him to hit a key, but trying it anyway, a message appeared. "To my dear wife Cassandra, may someone on the other side remember you." A A message to the developer's real wife, perhaps deceased. What about the other side it talked about, though? By that point, the blog had gone insane. The moderators, trying to contain discussion, encouraged users to not write half-baked replies, not to clog the servers with their many post requests. Many were confused. Many seemed ecstatic. Many more asked him to keep digging, to click the interaction key on everything in the room. He tried it, and soon enough, a chilling document appeared on screen, previously sitting on a low-resolution shelf. It read as such: "Food has been short, and the kids keep complaining. Without Cassandra, rationing has been difficult, and even more so forcing the young ones not to waste the broth or vegetables. We found a hole in the wall, and it turns out rats have dug into our food stash and ravaged most of one crate. There's less than half of the food we expected to find remaining. It won't last long. May God grant us mercy." At this point, after taking a picture, Jake got the chills and kept being curious for more, not bothering to post his discovery just yet, instead deciding to push further first. Another note was found. "Curse the day they attacked. Those damn communists. As their union dissolved in 1991, they launched an all-out attack on our free country. It's getting harder to breathe, and there's so little food to eat. The kids have bags under their eyes from the lack of sleep. There's nothing to do all day, but we cannot go out just yet. It would be too irradiated. Just a couple more weeks left." More pictures taken. Jake kept exploring the bunker, only managing to find one more note. This last, tattered piece read as such: "They wouldn't wake up. God, why? Just why? I shook them and slapped their face, but they were cold. The pulse was gone. Curse these enemies of ours. Curse their rotten leaders, too. I'll be digging 2 shallow graves outside. I won't make it back. I'll be too poisoned by the time I'm finished, but I can't bear to see them like this. Forgive me, Cassandra." What the hell? Thought Jake. Climbing outside, Jake went directly to the garden, discovering a skeleton laying by a shovel, with 2 small graves by his side. There had to be more. Inside the house, he looked through every corner and angle, eventually finding what appeared to be a broken computer in low poly count. He hit the interaction key, and one last note appeared, chilling the blood in Jake's veins as he read it. "We did it. Thanks to my coding, the virtual world has been completed. They'll live and feel as if they were real, and to be able to experience our world through the exosuits they'll be able to control. A low-resolution filter was placed on the robot's visors, so they'll never be able to guess the difference from their own world. I have to tell Cassandra. She'll love the great news." If you like these scary stories, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Either way, you won't be escaping from the Fear Zone.